Hello, Peter. I'm Zeng Xianze. My topical is all men are created equal. First, what is racism? Racism in the modern sense began in the colonial era of the 19th century. The European colonialists needed a large amount of labor in America. They took many black race slaves from Africa to work. The colonists never regarded those slaves as human beings, which was the source of racism. Racism refers to a person's attitude of contempt, disgusting, and exclusion for people other than the race to which he belongs, which is manifested in speech and behavior. Racism refers to prejudice, discrimination, and antagonism directed against the person or people on the basis of their membership of a political, racial, or ethnic group, typically one that is a minority or minority. Racism takes many forms and can happen in many places. It includes prejudice, discrimination, or hatred directed at someone because of those color, identity, or national origin. People often associate racism with acts of abuse or harassment. However, it doesn't need to involve violent or intimidating behavior. Take racial name calling and jokes, or consider situations when people may be excluded from groups or activities because of where they come from. Racism can be resolved through people's actions as well as their attitudes. It can also be reflected in systems and institutions, but sometimes it may not be revolted at all. Not all racism is obvious. For example, someone may look through a list of job applicants and decide not to interview people with criminal summons. Racism is more than just words, beliefs, and actions. It includes all the barriers that prevent people from enjoying dignity and equality because of their race. My views on racism. In my opinion, human beings have always worked to achieve racial equality. I want to let the word equality enter everyone's heart. We all want to live in a world without racism. Through the unremitting efforts of generation after generation, racism now seems to be on the mend. But this year, there have been many crises caused by racism, which remind us that racism is still a serious problem, and racial discrimination often happens in different areas. We need to do more to make the world a better place. In fact, when people are young, they keep a pure heart to everything in the world, unlike a complicated world of adults. Children care about whether they have fun with their playmates or not, and will not react with discrimination based on other people's skin color or race. It is guidance of parents or others, and negative life experiences from society that can make a person racist. If we can keep our childlike incontinence and not be led astray by racism, we may be able to achieve true equality for all. Case of racism. In the colonial era of America, because the Chinese labor is cheap, railroad connecting the east and west coasts of the United States, the famous Union Pacific Railroad, according to the statistic in the build time, invited 14 Chinese workers to participate in the project construction and accounts for 90% of total pollution in the construction press conditions particularly bad. A lot of Chinese workers died, so some people say every road sleepers below corpus of Chinese labor. The Chinese paid a huge price but had no return. It was not long before the United States introduced the notorious Chinese Exclusion Act, full of racism. Martin Luther King, American civil rights leader and winner of the Nobel Peace Prize. I have a dream that one day this nation will live up to the true meaning of its creed. We hold those truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. And then one thing happened in America. Recently in the United States, a large-scale protest about racism protests from an incident May 26, a black race law abiding people named Floyd. He paid cash, buy something in the shop after the shop owner says he had an $20 center fits money in cash shop owner that alarm. Floyd was 3 white police pressured on his hands and knees to death. From video monitoring and the passerby can see Floyd from beginning to the end have no resistance. He has been at the scene such as the police to deal with, and insisted that he hadn't done anything wrong. Okay, finally, no matter what color you are, no matter what race you are, we all breathe the same air on the same earth. Please let equality join popular sport. Conclusion. How does the world view racism? From the national level and the ego level, all people are equal. People should not be racist, should not risk discrimination. Americans' discrimination of this independence has a famous saying, all men are created equal. The principles of equality and non-discrimination are ensured in the UN the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the sources of UN resolutions. However, racism, racial discrimination, and still exists in some parts of the world. Thus, on 20 November 1963, the United Nations General Assembly resolution adopted the United Nations discrimination on the elimination of all forms of racial discrimination in order to implement the principles laid down in the discrimination. The United Nations General Assembly adopted the Convention in 1965. The most immediate reaction to the evils of racism is the lack of solidarity, the murderous attacks, and fighting the cause, the lack of cohesion and unity, the fragmentation of the society. Countries cannot be naturalized and governed in an unfit way. They run their own affairs independently and are intolerant of each other and hostile to each other. Thank you.